Item Number SCP-3831. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-3831 has been shut off from public access. Any calls made using the phone number are to be tracked and affected subjects taken into Foundation custody. Description: SCP-3831 is a group of public telephones located in Miami, Florida. It has been stripped of all furnishing and all wiring has been disconnected. Anomalous phone calls generated at this location cause human subjects who answer them to be treated as though they are at work. Subjects will begin to be perceived as and treated as an employee of any location they are in that employs workers in some fashion. The content of SCP-3831 calls is a voice demanding that the subject come into an unspecified workplace. These calls occur primarily during times when subjects have reported being stressed, but not distracted. The voice has been reported as sounding authoritative, and several subjects have described it as sounding like former managers or supervisors. These reports may be influenced by SCP-3831's effect. In all cases, subjects have reported the voice as being highly demanding and aggressive. Regardless of whether the subject answers the call or agrees to the request, they will become affected by SCP-3831. Initially, SCP-3831's effect will manifest itself in varying forms, including increased sensitivity to artificial lighting. Subjects will begin to have intense cravings for soda, tea, coffee, and other caffeinated or sugary beverages, despite any previous dietary preferences or restrictions. Pedestrians will enter the subject's vehicle while they are driving it, attempting to have the subject drive them to a desired location. These individuals generally react negatively to refusal. Subjects suffering a medical emergency were treated as medical professionals upon reaching a hospital or other medical facility. Instead of receiving treatment, subjects would be asked to do complex tasks like a surgical procedure. An affected subject with a garage was subjected to vehicles in need of repair being driven onto their property by individuals seeking a professional mechanic. This occurred even though the subject lived alone and had not spoken to any individuals since being affected by SCP-3831. This soon escalates to family members and friends only recognizing the subject as some form of household laborer when entering their home, with most documented humans appearing to lose any interest in SCP-3831 affected subjects, despite whatever their previous relationship may have been. At this point, subjects usually become homeless or isolated. Most contained subjects affected by SCP-3831 suffer some degradation of their mental faculties, caused by a combination of prolonged stress and lack of human interaction. All subjects affected by SCP-3831 have been documented to some degree as having a slowed perception of the passage of time. Some subjects have been found to integrate into working spaces, sleeping in their workplace at night and avoiding human contact during working hours. It is unknown how many subjects affected by SCP-3831 currently exist outside of containment. SCP-3831 was initially discovered after aberrations were noted in a police record. An SCP-3831 affected subject had begun a lifestyle centered around shoplifting. When confronted by police, if the situation escalated into a crime scene, the subject would immediately be treated like a police officer and leave the scene. Class C, Class B, Class A, amnestic treatment has proven ineffective in treating subjects affected by SCP-3831. The following text is referring to Project Espresso. Several individuals affected by SCP-3831 have been discovered in Foundation facilities. This presents potential for a severe security breach. However, it also presents an opportunity to observe SCP-3831 affected subjects more closely over a longer period of time. If we are to identify and relocate affected individuals to areas of research where they could be isolated and monitored without realizing, it could provide potential opportunity for more knowledge into how the anomaly operates. This project has been suggested by the Ethics Committee for review. August 12, 2002. SCP-3831 Effect Documentation. Both experiments and field observations are included in the interest of completion. Testing was done as part of the ongoing Project Espresso. Location: motor vehicle on road. Effect: when the SCP-3831 affected subject was driving, pedestrians would repeatedly climb into their vehicle, either treating it as public transportation or asking to be taken to a specific location. These subjects would become aggravated when the affected individual exited the vehicle. Location: restaurant. Effect: the SCP-3831 affected subject was not served, but instead forcibly moved into the kitchen by the waitstaff due to the belief that the subject was a chronically late cook. Subject was not able to obtain a meal. Location: motor vehicle, in garage. Effect: subject attempting to repair their vehicle had vehicles in need of repair driven onto their property by individuals seeking a professional mechanic. This occurred even though the subject lived alone and had not spoken to any individuals since being affected by SCP-3831. Location: a factory. Effect: the individual was discovered inside a thresher, operating damaged portions in order to keep it functioning. Upon discovery, the floor manager verbally disciplined the subject for not being efficient enough, and a write-up was documented in their records. Location: fast food restaurant. Effect: the affected subject was operating the drive-thru, asking persons going through to help them instead of taking their order. Most customers ignored or made comments on being irritated by it when giving their orders. Location: corporate office. Effect: discovered living inside an unoccupied office, the subject had been treated as a vice president of teledirectors. The subject was repeatedly asked about telecommunications projects, of which the subject had no knowledge. The subject survived on foodstuffs found within the office building. Location: academic institution. Effect: students would walk up to the affected subject and hand over textbooks, demanding payment in return. Paltry or even non-monetary sums were accepted. The affected subject was also able to ride security golf carts without being questioned. Location: SCP Foundation. Effect: after the SCP-703 containment breach, several pylons used in the construction of its containment apparatus were discovered to be human subjects affected by SCP-3831. This did not play a role in the breach, but presents a grave risk to informational and physical security of the Foundation's staff. It also represents the first time SCP-3831 has fully objectified a subject in terms of serving a function reserved for an inanimate object. A thorough audit of Foundation construction materials and personnel is being undertaken by the Ethics Committee. The following is for Ethics Committee eyes only. If you're reading this, you probably consider yourself loyal enough to the Foundation. They've taken care of you. It might not bother you to know you're affected by 3831. We've never been in short supply of ethically compromised scientists, but how do you think we get our clerks, administrators, and organizers who keep the day-to-day mechanism of the Foundation going? Proofreaders? Hundreds like them might pass you in the halls every day. They've always been here. They always will be. Of course, it's not supposed to be in the wild. We used to have real people calling, a phone bank with anomalous handsets. It's an empty room now, somewhere in the bowels of a site. The calls don't seem to care. They keep rolling in and bringing us more people than ever. Dedicated, loyal employees. Why do you think the Foundation has a bejeweled immortal body hopper, this of course referring to Dr. Bright, running our human resources department? That's the only way we can keep track of who we find and who we're sent. They integrate so quickly, in more ways than one. The Foundation will take care of all of them, in the end.